Sorry, doing a rare afternoon trip today because I wanted to fish this rising tide. I've pushed way back into Plaquemines Parish into an area with a bunch of deep bayous, and that's what I'm planning on focusing on today. I just arrived at the first one, and man, that tide is really ripping. I mean, it's rolling. I don't know if you can see that. Let me show you the water clarity too. It's not bad. It's not pristine, but it's not bad. So the plan today is to target some speckled trout deep. I'm gonna be throwing my favorite bait this time of year, 3/8 ounce death grip with a limbo sliced matrix shad. It's just, I mean, why change? It's just perfect for this style of fishing, and the fish love it. All right, let's see what happens. There's a fish. Ooh, what are you? Foul hooked or redfish? Foul hooked. Foul hooked drum or sheephead? Drum. Oh, he's hooked in the mouth, kind of under it. Not a legal keeper drum, sadly, because drum are delicious. But it's a start. Oh, there's a fish. That a trout? Feels like a trout. Yes, it is. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Nice. All right. Love to pull up to the first stop and get a couple of fish on your first two casts. Nothing wrong with that. Broke me off. Broke me off. Man, my last trip, I put this line through a beating, caught a bunch of fish, and just didn't retie. Dumb move on my part. I'm fishing kind of a little skinny bayou here. You can see the water. We got a rising tide. Winds are kind of intermittent. They're gusty and then they die. But this water's rushing through here. I'm throwing this way and letting the bait fall behind the boat, and they're just kind of picking it up and putting it down. These fish seem to be almost directly behind the boat. It's 3 hits I've got. Of course, one of them was a black drum. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. All right. Nice trout. Nice trout. Oh, took it deep too. Love to see that. All right. Oh, I love this type of action this time of year. It just does not get any better. And this is definitely a good year. These fish are all over. And of course, here comes a boat. Oh man, look at that. Way up here in front of the boat. That was just a fill time cast while the boat was passing, and it produced a fish. That boat saw me catch that fish and now they're stopping. Not that I blame them. Now the key in fishing like this is to get your bait down to the bottom every single cast, after every hop. I really like fishing down current because I like that paddle tail just, oh shoot, that paddle tail just flapping in the current, drawing those fish in. There he is. There he is. Good trout. Good trout. Oh, get in the boat. Nice trout. Nice trout. That's a solid 17-inch speckled trout right there. Hooked well. Love to see it. I'm gonna see if I can actually throw back here where these fish are. All I'm doing is picking it up off the bottom and putting it down. Oh, there we go. Oh, shoot, I missed him. That was a good hard hit. They are tagging it. There he is. All right. All right. Really some healthy fish. We did have that one throwback, but there's nothing wrong with these. Really fat. Look in the back. Just beautiful fish. Well, I guess throwing back with a fish, a holding actually worked. I mean, sometimes you never know. Like you got to make the same cast, even though it's not where the fish are holding, and just let it sweep. I think there's a bunch of fish down here. There's another one. Ooh, what are you? You got an opinion, don't you? Ooh, that's a good trout. That's why you got an opinion. You're a big fish. Goodness. Are you that big? Oh, yeah, you are. Goodness, that's a beautiful trout. I don't think that fish is 3, but man, he's close. And I tell you what, he's fired up. Water temp is 72. Last time I fished was 65. These fish are definitely acting differently. And that higher water temp, he had this bait really well. He was not getting rid of it. This is just a beautiful, beautiful fish. Now, I don't keep fish this size. We're gonna let this guy go. Just too big. There he is. They're just tagging it, man. Just so much fun. I love this style of fishing. Oh, oh, oh. Look at you. What are you, a tarpon? All right, get in the boat. 72 degrees. You love that temp, don't you? It's right in your wheelhouse. Yep, I hear you grunting. I hear you grunting. He thinks I'm hot. Oh, goodness. Boy, he ripped the rod out of my hands. That's another big one. Another really big speckled trout. Just a giant. Holy. Oh, 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 beautiful. Beautiful fish. Oh, you're all up in the gills, huh? Yeah. I'd rather not keep this fish, but no chance he lives, so I'm going to go ahead and keep him. It's a 20-inch speckled trout. Just incredible. I mean, this action does not get any better. It's just every single cast. I think I've made one cast where I haven't caught a fish. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself. They are definitely in a zone. You got to get in that zone. As soon as you do, pow! Got to make sure you get into the bottom too. So important. Get impatient and start fishing too fast against current. Make a lot of fruitless casts, catching nothing. Like this one. You saw my last video, you know the grass has really exploded down here. So that's the only thing that really kind of messes up your casts when you're fishing against the current. It just collects on your line and slides down to your bait. Oh, you dirty, dirty. This type of fishing has kind of had a few lean years back to back, but this year has been just crazy. So good. You find these deep water bayous and they're just stacked with speckled trout. It's the best I've seen in several years. Oh, dog. Two in a row. 3 in a row. Now, the deeper the water, the better. Like, you want to find those 15 to 20 foot areas. It's not always true, actually. Sometimes I catch them in 8 to 10, but that's what I'm hunting for. 15 to 20 in sharp bends and bayous. That's where it seems to be best. And you got to kind of pick apart those bends. You got to figure out how the fish are holding. Do you cast down current, up current? Do you cast toward the point, toward the outside bend? Dadgummit. That's the trout's blood, not mine. Look like I just murdered somebody. Now this bite will go on throughout the month of May, sometimes into June. Oh, oh. You're not gonna catch everyone. As May kind of moves along, however, the fish do a lot of what that one just did. A lot of just hitting and spitting. I don't know, it's like their brains function fully when the water temperatures are really warm, and they just don't hit plastics as well as they do this time of year. Here comes another boat. When a boat's passing, you always try and look as bored as possible, right? You try and look as bored as possible, and you also never throw where you were catching the fish. Little subterfuge. And look, I don't mind people coming here and doing this. There's just too many knuckleheads that crowd in on you and mess up your bite. You just can't take the chance. But generally with this deep bite, boats don't mess it up. They hear the boats passing overhead, but it doesn't really bother them. Now there are fish here still. I've missed literally about 8 in a row, just missed another one. And that's not uncommon. What happens is you got all these fish down there and you need them to kind of excite each other. So you have to get a hook into one. And of course he starts going nuts, and then all his buddies get charged up, and the next bait that passes through there, they attack it. Right now they're just kind of a little bit docile, pecking at it. I just need to get a hook in one, and that bite will resume for sure. There's a lot of fish down there. I'm getting bites on every cast. Just can't connect. One of them's gonna screw up for sure. That's about 10 or 11 in a row. It's crazy. I mean, they're tagging it too. All right, that's our screw up fish. See if he lights the other ones up. Oh, all right. Maybe mission accomplished, even though we didn't get him. And as you can tell, that fish wasn't hooked well. Just barely got too much of the hook. All right, see that? Right away. And he took it better. He's got it deeper. Woo-hoo-hoo! Now, if you saw my last video, I imposed a 10 fish limit on myself. This is number 10. So every fish after this is gonna be released. They should be charged up again. See if we get a hook in another one. Yep, there we go. That's all it took, hooking that one fish. Oh, he threw it. There he is. All right. Dude, you don't know how lucky you are. You can get to swim again. All right, one-stop shopping today. It literally doesn't get any easier. These fish are just everywhere right now. It's absolutely remarkable. It's just been a great, great spring. And you still have a few more weeks, as I mentioned earlier. But there are a few things you need to keep in mind if you plan to come out here and do this. Number one, good equipment is so important. Doesn't mean on days when they're just really tattooing the baits, you can't catch them on mediocre equipment. You can, but on days when those bites are subtle, man, you really got to feel them and react really, really quickly. You want to have some good equipment. Get the best rod you can afford. If you're going to skimp on the reel. That's my opinion. I think it's very, very important. Also, you want a medium heavy rod with a fast tip. That's a lot of rod for a speckled trout, but it helps you to react quickly when those fish hit. You will lose some when they come to the surface shaking their head trying to throw that lure because the rod doesn't have a lot of give. So it's kind of a trade-off, but I feel like you get more fish in the boat with this medium heavy equipment than you do with, say, medium or certainly medium light. I'd never come out here with medium light. Also, I really love braided line because it's got no stretch. I fish 30-pound braid, and to the end of that, I tie either a 20 or 30-pound fluoro leader. Now, fluoro is not essential this time of year. You can definitely get by with mono, no doubt about it. Don't tie that braid directly to your jig head. And then, of course, those death grip jig heads, man, they're just so important to me. I don't know why. They just produce more fish. They just do. And not only that, I mean, you use one bait the whole day, your bait's gonna get torn up before it ever pulls down the hook shank. And the hooks on the death grips are fantastic. Just really, really sharp. The biggest risk of fishing a death grip is stabbing yourself in the finger, which, believe me, I've done many times. they're unforgiving. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Summer's gonna be here before very long. These fish will all be outside. Catch them before they move to the outside. Heck, go catch them outside in the summer too, whatever. But if you wanna do this in these marshes, there is a shelf life. You got only a few more weeks. All right, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the Marsh Man channel on YouTube. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video. And until next time, if we don't see you in the marsh, we'll see you right here on Marsh Man All right, one of my favorite stops on the way back from a fishing trip down here in Plaquemines Parish is at Lil Lee's. If you're familiar with Plaquemines Parish, you may have passed this place up and never even known it. It's attached to the Fill-A-Sack, a gas station and convenience store. Now let me tell you, you might think because of that, it doesn't have good food, but I've got to say, it's some of the best food around. Trust me, if you eat here, you will love it. That's what I'm gonna do today. Hey, how are you?
How you doing?
Good. Can I get a grilled shrimp plate, please, with sweet potato fries? Thank you. Can I get a cup for some water? Yeah. That one looks good. Perfect. When you come to this part of the country, you expect the seafood to be really good, and let me tell you, those grilled shrimp were fantastic.